Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Big O 2019, day number 3. It is bright and early, first thing in the morning, so thank you for the 10 of you sitting in the stands. I greatly appreciate it. Let's see if we can get a little bit of energy first thing in the morning.
Happy Cinco de Mayo. Welcome to the Church of Derby. Can I get an amen?
We got one. We got one.
We have a great MRDA matchup. We have the San Diego Aftershocks. They're going to be skating in white. They're ranked number 16 by the Men's Roller Derby Association. They're going to be going up against the Denver Ground Control. They'll be skating in blue. They're ranked number 11 by the Men's Roller Derby Association. RPG, why don't you take us through that Denver roster?
First up, we have number 11, Cruz. Then we have number 13, Spicy. Number 18, Ferguson. Number 1984, Crunchy. 207, Judgment Day. 257, Schneider. Number 4, Baby Stelly. Number 40, Broderick. Number 43, wearing the C today, Chris with a K. Number 45, Panty Depressant. Number 72, Stelly. Number 77, Chetty Knight. Number 89, Alchemist Prime. And number 98, Sparrow.
Coaches for Denver are Akers wearing the A and Blackman. San Diego Aftershocks, number 1134, Just Dave. Number 23, Quadzimoto. Number 3, Culture Shock. Number 300, Kilkenny M. Falcon. Number 333, True Blocka. Number 34, Dirty 5. Number 415, Bad Billy. Number 5, Boo. Number 69, Mr. Dick. And the captain wearing the C, number 78, T-Dog. Coaches for San Diego are Calican Bay wearing the A, joined by Dutch Crunch and Cheeseburger coaching the bases. Just a little bit, got to get the scoreboard all squared away, and we are just about ready to go. Who is out there on the Derby Warehouse jam line?
Right now we have, that is number 98 for Denver in blue. Sparrow picking up a lead jammer very quickly before we even get to the pivot line. And that's going to be number 69, Mr. Dick for San Diego Aftershocks.
Already scoring. And the jam is called. All 4 points picked up by the ground control. First lead change of the game comes in jam number 1.
I feel like the first lead change always comes in jam number 1.
Sometimes you come to jam number 3, you get a couple of 0-0s or a couple of 4-4s.
I don't really ever count that first lead as a.
But usually.
The first set of points doesn't really count as a lead change.
You had no lead. You had
number
one
18
now.
in blue. That's going to be Ferguson, and that is going to be going up against Kilkenny M. Falcon. Denver. Ferguson coming out first, but not picking up lead. That's going to be going.
No, he has lead. The ref thought about calling it off, but then called him back onto the track and was extending the finger. That
okay,
was lead.
So it was lead. 2 points going to Denver.
Heading out to the jammer line now, number 72 for the ground control. That's Stelly. Is Dirty 5. 3-4 Dirty 5. Out on that Derby Warehouse jam line. No penalties yet, heading into jam number 3. Lead jam to Stelly, that's 3 in a row. First penalty of the game is a forearm. Aftershocks losing his skater to the box on a forearm.
Stelly going backwards, managing to pick up the 4 points. Calling off the jam for Denver. 10-0 going into jam number 4.
Hit This Derby Gear is the exclusive skate shop for the Big O. Before you hit the track, hit this.
Rolling up, we are restarting with the Denver jammer rotation. Number 98, Sparrow, picking up lead on the inside line. Going to be going up against Quadzimoto for the San Diego Aftershocks.
Forced to the infield, calls off the jam. Let's see how many points. Conferring with the other referees.
And it's going to be the full 4 going to Denver.
Ties the high score, set in jams 1 and 3. San Diego now repeating a jammer the first time. That's number 69 back out on the track. Mr. Dick. And number 18 is Ferguson for the ground control.
Pivot line start means these jammers have a little bit of room to work with and get up some speed. Ferguson going to be trying to make an apex jump, but is not able to land it. Mr. Dick pushing up front against the last 2 of the Denver blockers. That's 257 Schneider. And I believe that was 89 Alchemist Prime. Mr. Dick picking up lead in turn number 2.
First lead for San Diego. Culture Shock was also part of that group that knocked the jammer to the infield, spoiled that apex leap. Great job all around by the blocking there. Illegal contact is the call on blue 89. Jam is called. 4 points on the board for San Diego. Sets their high score, ties the high score of the game.
Stelly rolling up to our Derby Warehouse jam line. We're going to be joined by Dirty 5 for the Aftershocks. Offensive hole there for Dirty 5, going to get him up along the Denver wall, but they do push him to the outside, has to recycle back to the jam line. That's going to be Stelly.
Stelly 2 for 2 on the jammer line.
Full 4 for Stelly and the Denver ground control. Star pass for San Diego Aftershocks to Culture Shock. Two points at the end of the jams. It's going to be a 6-0 in favor of Denver ground control.
And now 6 is the highest total of the day. That's our first time either team has made multiple scoring passes.
Seems to be following a bit of the pattern for this weekend. A lot of hit it and quit it derby going on. A lot of very low scoring jams, very fast jams. We've had, I think we had a game yesterday that had 29 jams in one half.
Holy cow.
That's a lot. Kinkinium and Falcon going up against Panty Depressant. Panty Depressant in the back in the blue for Denver if you're just joining us. Aftershocks in white. Kinkinium Falcon up front, but is going to be having the long drawback from turn number 2 all the way back into turn number 1.
First appearance on the jammer line for Panty Depressant. They went through, it looks like a 3-jammer rotation twice and then handed the star to Panty. But Panty picks up lead. San Diego sets up a wall at the end of the backstretch. 2 points were picked up by Denver. San Diego held scoreless. RPG, do you like the social media?
I do. I love my social medias.
Well, the social media team is working feverishly all weekend long to bring you live tweets and Facebook coverage throughout the event. So give some love to our social media team.
Make sure to hashtag all of your social media posts with Big O 2019 for us. Talk to us on the Derby Twitter. 72, Stelly finding an open outside line. Almost didn't get a touch for that pass. Very quick on the lead.
Stelly's had lead 2 of the last 3 jams. So any points? 1 point. Brings us to 23-4, heading into jam number 9. If you're just tuning into the broadcast, this is the Big O live from Eugene, Oregon. We have the Denver ground control playing the San Diego Aftershocks. Denver is in blue and San Diego is in white. This is a hybrid broadcast, so the fans here in the stands hear what I'm saying, just that the fans at home do. Stoppage of play here is an official timeout.
If you want more information on the WFTDA Continental Cups or their hosts, make sure you visit WFTDA.com/cups.
Fantastic tournament here. There's WFTDA action, there's MRDA action, there's JRDA action. We have, I believe, 11 different countries represented at this tournament, including skating officials, non-skating officials, and the teams, and the announcers. Shout out to our tournament head announcer, Julia Sleazer. While we have this official timeout, let's take us through the officials. We have Polly Dangerous, Razor, Adam Smasher, Circumference, Kieran Duncan, Piratical, Ellie Mental, Connie, Geoknitter, Flourish and Blocks, Doof Warrior, Torka Mama, Tumbletina, Reed D Rules, Tuck and Roll, and D Baggins. Those are our officiating crew. Put your hands together for them. RPG, who's out there on the Derby Warehouse jam line?
That is going to be Dirty 5 going up against Sparrow once again. Sparrow picking up a lead. Jammer for Denver.
4 in a row and 8 of the 9 jams we've skated. They've skated. Hey, you proved like Nostradamus on the microphone. Hit it and quit it. Picks up 4 points.
Derby Warehouse jam line starting to get a couple of stars out there. Number 300, Kinkini and M. Falcon for the Aftershocks, going up against number 18, Ferguson, for the Denver ground control.
Rematch of jam number 2, and same result, at least in terms of lead. Lead goes to Denver. Ferguson 2 for 3 on the jammer line. Completes his scoring pass, takes a few seconds off the clock, and calls the jam. White jammer looks like they're wearing number 69. That is Mr. Dick. And number 72, Stelly, out there on the Derby Warehouse jammer line. Here we go, jam number 11.
Mr. Dick bent over double trying to get past the Denver wall and does, picking up lead for the Denver Aftershocks. Excuse me, the San Diego Aftershocks. Denver ground control. No pass, no penalty there for Stelly.
Yeah, Mr. Dick picking up lead. He's 2 for 4 on the jammer line. The only the only San Diego skater, yeah, got me doing it, only San Diego skater to have lead this game. 2 points for the Aftershocks, brings them up to 6. And
19 minutes, 45 seconds left on our period clock going into jam number 12. 3-4 pack advantage for the Aftershocks. Aftershocks going to send out Dirty 5 to face off against Sparrow.
Sparrow's 3 for 3 on the jammer line heading in.
Sparrow doing a little bit of a mohawk up on one skate to complete the initial pass and pick up lead. Pack speeds up into turn number 2, coming into a slowdown on the straightaway.
Yeah, great block by the captain, T-Dog, spoiling that pass. Oh. So due to... All right, skaters lining back up again. Clock's going to start rewinding. We're at 18 minutes and 58 seconds. Take us out to that Derby Warehouse jammer line, won't you, RPG?
Number 72, a name that I've seen quite a few times already, Stelly, going up against Kinkinney M. Falcon. Stelly getting nice and low, picking up lead on the inside line. Kinkinney M. Falcon still fighting to complete the initial.
Yes, Stelly's 3 for 4.
Denver going to be losing number 4, Baby Stelly, to the penalty box.
Excuse me, that was 4 for 5, actually. And now with 4 more points, he brings Denver up to 35. Ground control sitting on 8. Number 18 is Ferguson. Number 69 is Mr. Dick.
Denver sending Judgment Day back for a little bit of offensive assistance. Each team dropping a blocker back to bridge. Both jammers coming out simultaneously, but it's going to be Mr. Dick of the Aftershocks.
Mr. Dick has all 3 lead jams that San Diego's had. Our first scoreless of the game.
Skating up to our Derby Warehouse jam line, that's going to be Dirty 5 and Stelly.
Stelly has been on the jam line 3 of the last 5 jams for the ground control.
And picking up a lead yet again.
He's had lead 2 out of those 3 times.
Denver putting on a burst of speed to be able to stay out in front of Dirty 5, but not going to be able to finish that out.
Wow.
That's number 78, T-Dog, was the last blocker to beat for Denver and is able to complete that. That's going to be 3 points for Denver. Panty-depressant and Kinkinney M. Falcon. Familiar jammers for each of these teams. A little bit of a hole there between in front of Kinkinney M. Falcon, and it does work out for the Denver Aftershocks. Excuse me, San Diego Aftershocks. I really got to get that fixed in my head.
It's all good. It's all good. Injury White. They're not showing that. If we could just get a different screenshot, please. Nice round of applause for our medical team. We're glad you're here. Thank you to our medical team here at the Big O.
For those of you on the stream with us, sorry, as we do have an injured skater, and we are doing a hybrid call, both in-house and on the stream. We do like to make sure that we kind of take a moment, let our medical staff do what they need to do and stop talking. So if you have a little bit of dead airspace, we apologize, but it is just kind of procedure of being on a hybrid call. Number 18, Ferguson for Denver, going up against number 69, Mr. Dick. Some offensive blocking assists coming in there by number 11, Cruz for Denver, but a couple of big hits. Denver with a quick juke around. There's a no pass, no penalty on there, so Denver, though coming out first, is not lead, and lead will go to Mr. Dick.
Yeah, I got a track cut assist on True Blocka. And I believe another penalty coming in. We'll see if somebody reports to the box. Who'd you have getting lead that last jam?
That was going into San Diego.
Nice. All right, now out on the jammer line, number 72, Stelly, having had 2 jams off, ready to get back to work. And on the jam line now, number 300 for the Aftershocks, that is Kilkenny M. Falcon. And Stelly picks up lead. Direction of play penalty coming in. Denver losing a skater to the box.
Stelly with a very, very nice duck to the outside line, picking up the full 4. So if you are joining us right now, Denver Gown Control in blue, San Diego Aftershocks in white. Here at Big O 2019, day number 3, game 1 here on track number 3. And it's going to be Sparrow for Denver picking up lead. Jammer Dirty 5 was wearing the star for the San Diego Aftershocks, but a successful star pass there to Just Dave. Just Dave skating hard is going to force the call off. OPR going to come in and assist, and it was the full 4 there for Denver.
I'm not seeing a uniform number for Just Dave. First star pass of the day. Panty depressor on the line for Denver, and Mr. Dick on the line for San Diego.
Big hit coming in from number 78, T-Dog for the Aftershocks, forcing the drawback on panty depressant.
Aftershocks blocker picking up a track cut. That's number 333, True Blocka on the track cut.
Pat kind of creeping through turn number 2 now, but going to be an opening and a quick juke. Picks up lead for panty depressant. Track cut called on Mr. Dick. Power jam to Denver.
Only the 3rd jam for panty depressant. He's 2 for 3 and now has lead.
That's going to be Culture Shock and Mr. T-Dog trying to keep panty depressant at bay, and they do actually push them out, have to force the recycle. But a quick juke means that the first 4 points for this jam go onto the board. The wall for dinner, Chet E. Knight, Williams, and Judgment Day all getting ready.
Good old Chet-Eye. He was a great name for May 4th. May the 4th be with you.
There was quite a few of those yesterday.
Chet-Eye
I was
night.
So very happy.
Stelly back out on the line for the ground control, and Kilkenny M. Falcon back on the line for the Aftershocks, 2 of the go-to jammers. But actually It's only the second time in the game they've lined up against each other. First time was back at jam number 18.
And it is going to be Stelly picking up lead for Denver.
Both teams working a rotation, but mixing it up a little bit. It's not a steady rotation, but they have their go-to jammers and their relief jammers.
That's number 4 for Denver, Baby Stelly, and Bodrick, number 40, standing up, Kinkinian M. Falcon.
Illegal contact penalty coming in. That is on number 89, Alchemist Prime.
Just a little bit too much space left between Bad Billy and Just Dave. Just weren't quite able to keep Stelly at bay.
Pack crowding into that tightest turn on the track, getting bottlenecked. Another 4 points on the board. Highest jam of the game for either team. 4 scoring passes and counting. Five scoring passes. How about that? Brings Denver up to 71. San Diego sitting on 8. Denver wanted to give a shout out to Dirty Monkey and Lenzo. Teammates that could not make the trip. So shout out from the Denver ground control to Dirt Monkey and Lenzo.
Ferguson going up against Dirty 5. A couple of jammers we're very familiar with at this point. It's going to be Ferguson finding the juke to the inside line. The two jammers going after each other. Denver deciding to call it off. 0-0 jam. Going into jam number 23. About 9 minutes and 17 seconds left on our period clock.
That was our 4th scoreless jam of the game. Scoreless in 14, 16, 17, and now jam 22. DerbyWarehouse.com for all your Derby gear needs. Who's out on that Derby Warehouse jam line, RPG?
Sparrow and Dirty 5. Dirty 5 deciding they haven't had enough, but Sparrow picking up lead for Denver.
So back-to-back jams for Dirty 5.
Chase down from Baby Stelly, not quite fast enough to keep up with Dirty 5. Dirty 5 does complete the initial pass, forcing the call-off.
We're going to get a lot of jams in this game as well. We're already up to jam number 24. There's only about 8 minutes left.
3 points there for Denver.
San Diego Aftershocks wanted to give a shout out to Rocco Marciano watching from home. Also to Stevie Wunder at home with an injured knee. So love from the San Diego Aftershocks. Also to Derby United from the San Diego Aftershocks.
Panty Depressant with a run up the outside line, picking up lead for Denver. That's going to be Mr. Dick bobbing back and forth to complete the initial.
7 leads in a row for the ground control.
Only 3 points there for the Denver ground control. T-Dog doing a great job making sure to stay out in front of Denver, not allowing that point to be picked up.
Denver held scoreless now for 12 jams. Excuse me, Denver holding San Diego scoreless for 12 jams.
Dirty 5 and Stelly. Stelly finding a little bit of room for a shoulder there, but it is going to be a forearm called on Stelly, so Dirty 5 with the opportunity to pick up lead for the San Diego Aftershocks.
First power jam for the Aftershocks.
Very, very long drawback all the way to the jam line.
So now we will not get a lead.
But a star pass has been completed to number 3, Culture Shock. Culture Shock able to score points, meaning that this is going to be our first 2-minute jam in the game. Culture Shock going up against 89. Alchemist Prime and Cruz. Both doing a great job to hold Culture Shock at bay for a minute. 3 points going to San Diego. Stelly back out on the track from the penalty box.
Wow, great action along that outside line. Oh, track got called now on the San Diego Aftershocks jammer. So the power jam switches the other way.
So Dirty Five with the knockout and drawback, showing some great blocking ability after that star pass. Right there was the last one to beat, but a hop, skip, and a like 180 jump thing.
Yeah, sweet little pirouette. A triple Salchow, maybe? I don't know.
I don't know. Stelly picking up more points.
Stellar work by Stelly.
Completing the initial pass for Denver there.
And now both teams back at full strength. Just as 2 minutes ends the jam points. Denver picking up a total of 8. Brings them up to 85. San Diego putting 5 on the board. That is their highest jam of the game, and it brings them to 13.
Official timeout means we can tell you about Eugene at Cascades and Coast. Real adventure, real close. Plan your Oregon vacation at Eugene's Cascades and Coast. Eugene and the Oregon area, the Oregon coast, such a beautiful place to come visit. If you haven't had a chance to come visit, I highly suggest. I've been here 3 or 4 times, and I still feel like I have so much left to see in Oregon, in Eugene, and out on the coast. I'll be heading there. I'll be heading to the coast in just a couple of days, and I'm so very excited to go relax on an Oregon beach.
Nice. Sounds delightful. Yeah, it's been beautiful weather here out in Eugene. If you haven't ever been to the Big O before, this is my first time, but it's definitely not my last. Who's out there on the Derby Warehouse jammer line?
It's Quasimodo going up against Ferguson. Quasimodo with a big burst of speed through the middle, picking up lead for the Aftershocks. Just Dave with a little wave as he heads to that penalty box.
First appearance on the jammer line for Quasimodo, and he is 1 for 1.
Quasimodo was used as a relief jammer quite a bit for the Aftershocks yesterday in the game that I announced for them.
Our 5th scoreless jam of the game. And we're heading into jam number 27. Still with 4 minutes to play.
So back to that thing where I said that yesterday we had a 29 jam half. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. A lot of these quick one-and-done jams. I think we've had just a few multi-scoring pass jams. So lead jammer going to Mr. Dick and the Aftershocks. Panty Depressant wearing the star for Denver. Panty Depressant juking around T-Dog once again, but is pushed out. We'll have to recycle back into turn number 2.
Yeah, Denver has had 4 multi-scoring passes, more than one scoring pass. San Diego's only done it once. So almost everything has been either no points or one scoring pass, and it's done.
Big hit coming in from number 4, Baby Stelly there. Mr. Dixon all the way to the far side of the ref lane, almost taking out Duncan. It's going to be 5 points for the Aftershocks on that jam, 18-85 going into jam number 28. 3-4 pack advantage for Denver. King Canadian Falcon lined up on our Derby Warehouse jam line going up against Sparrow. Almost a jam line start there from our pack. Both skaters getting a bit of a running start. Sparrow going chest to chest with T-Dog again. T-Dog being that final line of defense for them so very often. Excuse me, I think that's Dirty Five. I apologize.
Had been 3 jams since Denver had lead. They're back to getting lead jammer. Sparrow flies through, picks up 4 points, and calls off the jam. Denver now at 89. We are going into jam number 29. I only have 2 more lines left on my score sheet. I need a 2-minute jam here.
I almost lost the jammer there for Denver Aftershocks, but that's going to be number 3, Culture Shock. Starting halfway through turn number 4, trying to get a bit of a rolling start. Ferguson able to do a couple of quick jukes and pick up lead for Denver, however.
First jam for Culture Shock. First appearance wearing the star.
Culture Shock has received a couple of star passes, though.
Yeah, back in jam number 6, got the star.
Denver just able to call off the jam before Culture Shock. Already able to get back around. 4 points for Denver.
Brings them up to 93. Aftershock sitting on 18. In jam number 30, it is Stelly versus Quasimodo.
Quasimodo up front pushing against a 3-wall. Looks like Crunchy. Braced by a couple of other Denver players. That's going to be Judgment Day and number 77, Chetty Knight.
No pass, no penalty. Multiplayer block sends number 1984, Crunchy, to the penalty box. So lead is still open.
Denver scoring points. Quasimodo still trying to find lead, but Judgment Day saying no thank you. Pushing to the outside, recycles back into the top of turn number 3.
And now there's going to be no lead because that helmet covers off. So this jam will go the full 2 minutes. We won't have more than 30 jams.
Star pass completed to Dirty 5 there for the San Diego Aftershocks. No pack on these front straightaway as they reform. Stelly with a backwards hop to complete the scoring pass.
Only our second 2-minute jam. Sorry.
Dirty 5 fighting hard for that scoring pass, but is able to get it there in turn 2. 4 points for the San Diego Aftershocks.
Denver's got 16. It's put him up over the century mark. Nice.
Trubaka doing a really nice job coming up and trying to break up that Denver offense, providing a little bit of offense there before transitioning to defense.
Stelly, a master of getting low. So the jam ends. There's going to be a multiplayer block. So whoever's going to go to the penalty box now will start the second half in the penalty box. It is halftime. Unofficial, score showing 113-22.
Make sure you go grab a drink, grab any snacks, breakfast, anything that you're still trying to find there for us. Go do all that and come right back. You've got right about 9.5 minutes.
If you're listening to the broadcast, come back in about 2 minutes. Some will have some numbers to throw at you.
Yeah, I am RPG.
I'm Bobby Narco. We'll see you in just a bit. All right, looking at this points per jam graphic. Welcome back to the viewers on the screen. Welcome back to the fans in the stands. We got some statistical analysis for you. If you're watching at home, you're seeing the points per jam really being dominated by Denver.
Couple of spikes there. You do see 2 20-point jams. Both, I believe you said, were done by Stelly.
Yes, both 20-point jams came by Stelly in jams number 21 and 30.
Stelly having a really, really great game, doing a lot of really great juking, getting low, making sure to finding those minuscule holes in any direction of skating that I've managed to see.
And his ability to get low.
Forwards, backwards, sideways, in the air. It's all an option there.
Yeah. He's had 10 appearances on the jammer line, got lead 7 times.
And Mr. Dick being the most successful, I believe, so far for the Denver Aftershocks, getting a lead a few times, 3 or 4, and almost all of them coming from Mr. Dick. It's been, he was an incredible skater as well yesterday, very pivotal for the Denver Aftershocks, or San Diego Aftershocks. Man, I have done that so many times. I will get it right eventually, I promise, and I am so sorry. So a bit of a rankings differential here, but Denver just really showing great control on the track, really able to be very methodical about getting lead, getting out there, taking that control, doing these one-and-done jams, and death by a million cuts.
Yeah, great control by the ground control. Speaking of all that control, only 1 trip to the penalty box by Denver Jammers, only 2 trips to the penalty box by the Aftershocks. Aftershocks have passed the star 3 times. Denver's only passed the star once. 21 of the lead jams went to Denver. 7 went to the Aftershocks. 2 jams had no lead. Now, second half, first jam of the second half. What do we got?
We have Sparrow going up against Culture Shock. Culture Shock starting with the star for the second time in this game. Denver calling off the jam after picking 4 points.
No points for San Diego, keeps them at 22. Blocker still in the penalty box for San Diego.
It's going to be a 2-4 pack advantage here at the start of jam number 2. Ferguson and Kennedy M. Falcon sharing a little bit of jam love there on our Derby Warehouse jam line. Both jammers taking that inside line and finding a little bit of a hole, but it's going to be Ferguson coming out first. Denver able to recycle back in front of Kennedy M. Falcon. That's number 40, Bodrick, and 257, Schneider. Doing a great job of re-engulfing Kennedy M. Falcon, not allowing him to get out and complete that initial pass until just now.
Great job also, in addition, opening up the outside line, getting Ferguson through. Almost untouched on that first scoring pass. Definitely touched on the second scoring pass. Calls off the jam midway through. 4-point first pass, 2-point second pass, makes a total of 6, brings the score up to 1-2-3.
Culture Shock rolling up to our Derby Warehouse jam line nice and low. That's going to be Stelly wearing the star yet again for Denver. Pivot line start yet again for this pack. Running start for our jammers. Culture Shock picking up lead jammer for the Aftershocks. Stelly completing the initial. Half a track lead means that the San Diego Aftershocks are going to call off that jam. 4 points going to San Diego.
Give a shout out to all our referees and non-skating officials. We read them off earlier, but we do appreciate your love. Show some love to the refs and officials. Also for all the volunteers this weekend. Give some love to all the volunteers this weekend. Out on that Derby Warehouse Jammer Line RPG, who have we?
It is Quasimodo in white and Sparrow in blue. Sparrow called lead and re-engulfed in the pack, so Sparrow completing that initial pass now as the lead jammer. Quasimodo still juking back and forth, trying to find that opening.
Yeah, Judgment Day doing a great job guarding that inside line. Now goes back to play the wrecking ball. Forearm penalty comes in on Rivera.
Denver picking up 4 points, calling off the jam.
San Diego also wants to give a shout out to number 4 Retro and wishing Retro's mom a good health. Retro could not make the trip because his mom is home. with some medical difficulties. So much love to Retro, and speedy recovery to Retro's mom.
Stelly and Kennedy M. Falcon on our Derby Warehouse Jam line. Kennedy M. Falcon hitting a wall. I'm not quite sure. Couldn't see who that was. Ah, that was 1984 Crunchy. Crunchy with a heck of a stand-up on Kennedy M. Falcon there, but both jammers come out at almost the same time.
That's a white lead.
Deli getting low, trying to keep Kennedy and Falcon behind him.
Nothing. Our fifth scoreless jam, our sixth scoreless jam of the game, our first scoreless of the half. $101-point lead for the ground control. And Ferguson out there on the Derby Warehouse jammer line, as well as Culture Shock.
That's panty depressant, actually.
Oh, my bad.
Panty depressant trying to get around 415. That's Bad Billy. And 34, Dirty 5. Dirty 5 doing a lot of blocking in this second half. But it is going to be Denver picking up lead jammer as both Culture Shock and a San Diego Aftershocks blocker are sitting in our penalty box.
Yeah, that's actually a double penalty. It was a track cut that sent the jammer off, and then there was a gross misconduct assessed as well. So the Aftershocks jammer will be serving a full minute.
Shout out to at Belkey. I'm sorry if I just messed up your Twitter handle, but Justin Stelly's four-step method to jamming. Number 1, turn backwards. Number 2, be on one leg. Number 3, sort of magic I do not possess. And number 4, lead jammer. And that is so freaking true. And it is awesome.
Right. Yeah, four-step program.
So 3 points going to Denver ground control there, courtesy of Panty Depressant. I really, that is such truth. Such truth right now for what I'm watching right now. And thank you to those of you watching on Twitter or watching on the stream and tweeting at us at Derby Twitter and Big O 2019.
On the line, Kenny M. Falcon going up against Ferguson. We're in jam number 8.
Ferguson picking up a lead for Denver, and Kennedy and Falcon with the rush trying to get around Judgment Day. Judgment Day is finally no longer in front of Kennedy and Falcon. Kennedy and Falcon completing that initial pass. 4 points for Denver ground control.
'98 is Sparrow, and you're not seeing it on the screen at home, but number 3 is Culture Shock.
Culture Shock picking up a lead for San Diego's Aftershocks.
Only their 3rd of the half, 10th of the game. Low misconduct penalty on the pivot for San Diego. Two penalties, something and a misconduct. So San Diego will be pivotless for another 50 seconds or so.
Culture Shock already got 4 points. Refs conferring one additional point, 5 points there going to the Aftershocks.
That ties the high mark of the game for San Diego, accomplished twice in the first period.
Quasimodo going up against Stelly.
How about that 4-step program?
It's a thing. It's a truth. Track cut called on Quasimodo, power jam to Stelly and Denver. Denver losing a blocker to the penalty box and a casual apex jump. You know, the things that I don't possess the skills to do.
Kind of a gallop, really.
Skating in general, things that I
gallop.
don't. Skating is things that I don't possess the skills to do. I've tried.
I'll talk about it, though.
I'll talk about it and make it sound really cool because I'm good at that.
I love it when you guys do it. Right there with your RPG.
Mr. Dick coming out of the penalty box, rejoining the pack.
4 scoring passes. That represents...
Also going to be Quasimodo getting around Crunchy.
Oh, no, and a misconduct. 2 penalties, a something and a misconduct? So, on the 5th scoring pass.
Back block called on Stelly. Going to be a 2-minute jam. We'll have a jammer.
It'll just knock 30 seconds off of the white jammer's time.
Yep.
And
so not quite a jammer swap. So for those of you who haven't necessarily been the most familiar with Derby, normally when one jammer sits and the other jammer is called on a penalty and sits in the penalty box with them, we have a lot of power swaps because if you have one penalty on one jammer, that then kind of cancels out. They have to sit for the same amount of time. But when there is a second penalty on one jammer, the other is released. It knocks 30 seconds off, and then we move on. So.
Expertly described there, RPG. 22 points on the board for Denver. That is the highest individual jam of the game. Stelly passing his own mark of 20 points, set back in jams 21 and 30 of the first period.
Timeout called by Denver. So as I was saying earlier, make sure you go on your social medias and use the Big O 2019 hashtag in all of your posts about the tournament this weekend. I want to see the pictures of you sitting on your couch or wherever you are right now watching this stream. For those of you in the crowd, please make sure you walk on over to our really cool Big O backdrop. Take a picture of yourself with that Big O backdrop and tag yourself in these things because I want to see them.
I do too. First stoppage of play that has not been an official timeout. There were 4 stoppages of play in the first half, but they were all official timeouts. This is the first team timeout or official review that's been requested all game long. And the team timeout winds down. Skaters taking their places back out on the track. Ferguson donning the spangled helmet cover for Denver. And way over in turn number 4, that is number 3, Culture Shock, jamming for the Aftershocks.
Ferguson up front, finally able to get around Dirty 5 there, picking up lead for the Denver ground control.
Ground control losing their pivot to the penalty box.
Just, casual, skate backwards through the apex, 4 points.
Aftershock do pick up 2. That'll bring them up to 33. And 4 points on the board for the ground control brings them up to 160. 166 to 33, heading into jam number 11.
Kilkenny M. Falcon on that Derby Warehouse jam line, being joined by Panty Depressant. Panty Depressant coming out of the pack first, picking up lead for Denver.
Yeah, that's 3 in a row. 5 of the last 6 leads have gone to Denver. Denver losing a blocker but gaining a pivot. So equilibrium but down 1 blocker.
It's 207 Judgment Day. Skating backwards, trying to block Kilkenny Falcon. But Kilkenny Falcon able to pick up 4 points there. 4 apiece for each of these teams. Six-4 jam in favor of San Diego.
Take us out to that Derby Warehouse jammer line, will you, RPG?
Right now, we've got Stelly with a recycle back to the jam line, and Culture Shock picking up lead for the Aftershocks. Culture Shock pushed to the inside line, picked up 1 point before being pushed out.
Two total, 164 to 41, and timeout. Who's timeout?
I believe there's an official review.
So far, just being
we'll figure it out.
An official timeout.
We'll figure it out in a minute. Official timeout was called, I believe, before the official review was called. So why don't I tell you about Rydell?
I would love to hear about Rydell, RPG.
The Big O is brought to you in part by the acclaimed Rydell Solaris. Solaris, the performance you demand, the comfort you've been missing. If you are here, make sure to head on over to Vendor Village and try on your Solaris boot for yourself. If not, if you are joining us from the stream, make sure you head on over to Rydell's website and check out those because, you know, we all need new things. Derby Warehouse, visit derbywarehouse.com for all of your Derby gear needs with free shipping and returns.
White is doing an official review to challenge the number of skaters on the track during the last jam.
So, our officials tried to give us a little bit of information there from the middle of the track, but that was drowned out in track number 2 for us. So, we'll get clarification on that here in a moment. But it does look like that this has been turned into an official review that is being called by San Diego. So also make sure you check out Eugene Weekly. They are Lane County's local alternative free newspaper. Your insight into Eugene can be found online at eugeneweekly.com. And if you're interested in a little bit more Derby, go ahead and after this game, check on track number 2. We have Chinhook going up against the Baja Roller Derby's Wheels team. That's number 38, number 33. Let's see, I'm trying to see the scoreboard through another person. They're just about to go into halftime. Score update of 37 to 55. So looks like it's a pretty fun game. Nice and tight. They're going into halftime. So after this game, go in and check on track number 2 because that'll be still going when we're finishing this game. And then also we will be having after this game, we've got number 9 Montreal going up against number 47 Sacramento. Sacramento had a really good game last night against Evil. It was very, very close down to the last jam. And Evil being ranked number 43, so should be a lot of fun. We're getting a little bit of clarification from the officials on our official review here, it looks like.
Sorry about the rocking that you saw. Clarifying, in case you could not hear the head ref, the official review was requested by San Diego, and they were requesting a penalty for illegal procedure for putting too many, or for delay of game, for putting too many skaters on the track.
So that will be Chris with a K, the captain, sitting for that penalty, as all delay of game penalties are served by the captain.
After reviewing, there were too many skaters on the track, so the penalty is being assessed to the blue team.
Thank you to our head ref there. So penalty assessed to number 43, Chris with a K, as I said, for the illegal procedure. Denver going to send out number 18, Ferguson, going up against number 23 for the Aftershocks, Quasimodo. Little friendly jammer push and shove there at our Derby Warehouse jam line. Forearm called on Ferguson.
And a track cut called on the other jammer.
So, 2-minute jam. We're going to sit for just a second and hop right back up. 3-3 pack. Excuse me, 3-4 pack. I missed a Aftershocks blocker behind our officials. Ferguson pushed to the outside, trying to stumble back up. Recycling all the way back in behind Mr. Dick, and that's going to be Quasimodo trying to complete the pass, but unable to. Push the outside, recycling to the jam line.
Back at full strength, all the skaters there right around that pivot line. New jammer for San Diego.
Yeah, star pass to number 69, Mr. Dick, for San Diego Aftershocks.
Mr. Dick, a familiar appearance with the star. First time we've seen the star on the helmet of Mr. Dick this period.
4 points apiece for each of these teams. Denver with a blocker in the penalty box.
Nice.
Ferguson, you know, another one of those little casual apex gallops. Pat coming in to turn, or the back straightaway, excuse me. Ferguson fighting hard against the back of Quasimodo. That's 333 True Blocka. Number 23, yeah, Quasimodo, who I've already said.
Forearm penalty sending one of the Denver blockers to the penalty box. And 2 minutes ends the jam. A dozen points on the board for the Aftershocks.
10 for Denver.
That's the highest score of the game for the Aftershocks and represents nearly a quarter of their score.
Timeout coming in from the San Diego Aftershocks.
I thought they said blue. Oh, you're right.
A couple of these teams getting a fairly short roster.
Yeah.
By the end of this weekend, a few injuries, a few other things. So the Aftershocks just trying to take a little bit of a breather, trying to make sure that everybody is taking a little rest going into the end of this game. We've got about 13 and a half minutes left on our period clock going into jam number 14.
Yeah, San Diego's only come with 10, so Denver has a full contingent. They have a little more depth. That's probably contributing to the discrepancy in the score you see right now. Hooligans came to this tournament with only 9 skaters, and one of them got injured. So tough travels for Philadelphia this tournament.
Broderick starting the jam in the penalty box for Denver's ground control. And that's going to be Sparrow going up against Culture Shock.
Illegal procedure called on number 78 on the white team.
T-Dog.
T-Dog, the captain.
Culture Shock with a duck around number 77, Jedi Knight, means Denver's going to take the, San Diego's going to take the lead.
That's 2 lead jams in a row for Culture Shock, and he's picked up lead 3 of the last 4 jams he's had.
But Culture Shock picking up a forearm penalty headed to that penalty box. Sparrow going to be on the power jam for Denver, and we will have a 2-minute jam.
Yeah, back-to-back 2-minute jams are a third of the period, our 5th of the game.
Really, really fantastic offensive blocking there for Denver. That was Broderick with that big sweep to the outside. Judgment Day, Crunchy, all out there for Denver. Ooh, Sparrow taking a track cut penalty. So we're trading power jams in this jam.
Yeah, back-to-back jams where both jammers have gone to the penalty box.
Culture Shock. Quick burst of speed to get in front of Broderick. Picks up 4 points for the San Diego Aftershocks.
12 is the high water mark for the Aftershocks. Just set last jam. Can they eclipse it now?
Big hit on True Blocka. Taking True Blocka to the outside. That's also going to be Bad Billy for the Aftershocks. Trying to do a little bit of offensive blocking. T-Dog in there as well. And Just Dave.
Forearm penalty coming in right at the very end on white number 78. That is T-Dog again, going back to the penalty box, this time on a forearm. Point tallies 14 for Denver.
And 8 for San Diego.
Oh, that's going to be 9 for San Diego. It is. That last point from that last pass coming in right now.
Official timeout as we discuss with our refs.
Speaking of our refs, let's thank our tournament head referee. That is Umpire Strikes Back out of Rat City Roller Derby. Also thank our assistant tournament head refs, Kurt So Good out of Saskatoon and Nitsugi out of Rose City. Also like to thank our tournament head NSO, 9-Inch Wheels out of Rat City, and our assistant tournament head NSO's Rabbit Derby fan out of Cincinnati and Switzerland out of Sydney Roller Derby League. Love to all the tournament heads and all the officials. Also our tournament head announcer, Julia Sleazer. Thank you to her for including me as part of this team. I've had a blast.
So right now the San Diego Jammer sitting in the penalty box. So it's going to be a power start for Denver. Sending out Stelly. Stelly picking up lead there in turn number 2. Very fast pack as we started off this jam. It speeds up again, moving into turn number 3. Denver opening the inside line.
Wow.
That was, I believe, I can't see who that number is, but San Diego Aftershocks with a nice knockout and draw back to the jam line. They're holding Stelly back for just a moment in turns number 1 and 2. 4 points for the Denver ground control. Culture Shock out of the penalty box and re-engaged with the pack. Cruz and Culture Shock. But it's going to be a back block on Stelly. Power jam to Culture Shock.
Back to back to back 3-minute jams.
2-minute jams.
2-minute jams. 3-minute jams would be a lot.
3 back-to-back 2-minute jams, I think is where you were headed with that thought.
Thank you. Directional play penalty sends the pivot to the penalty box for San Diego.
Culture Shock having a little bit of struggles with that Denver wall, just able to keep up with him.
Denver losing a blocker on a forearm.
Stelly back out on the track and going chest to chest with T-Dog. Tries to jump in, but finds his own wall in the way. That was also 11:34, just Dave. But 4 points there at the end of the jam for Denver. So 12 total on the jam, bringing us to the even 200 mark. $8:35 left in the half. Jam number 16. 3-4 pack advantage in favor of San Diego.
Panty-depressant on the line, going up against Dirty 5. Here we go.
Mr. Dick up front, running some offensive for the Aftershocks. Dirty 5 picking up a lead, but stumbles and falls there, recycles to make sure there's no track cut.
3 of the last 4 leads have gone to San Diego.
77 Shut-Eye back in the back, giving some trouble to Dirty 5. Both jammers come out on the initial just about at the same time. Dirty 5 having the
Draws
lead
the
there.
Cut.
That was such good awareness. So beautiful from Dirty 5. I got to give that to you. Like, that ability to pull that cut and that drawback, just the half-second step back was all you needed to make that in your favor. Dirty 5 now on the power jam in turn number 4.
Great hit by T-Dog on Baby Stelly in the pack, opening up a hole for the jammer to get through. Unfortunately, jammer couldn't get it and taken all the way back to turn number 3.
It's a Baby Stelly, Shut-Eye Night. Judgment Day.
Low block called on the San Diego pivot, Mr. Dick.
Penny to present out, Apex jump to pick up the first 4 for Denver. Dirty 5 with some pocket points, completing the pass there, calling off the jam, so it's going to be 4 points apiece on this jam.
Hard fought 4 for San Diego.
Denver with a very successful power kill in that power jam kill in that last jam.
Yeah, and evening out the points. I mean, complete wash, 4-4. Ferguson and Kilkenny M. Falcon making their way out to the Derby Warehouse jam line. We have a stoppage of play. Unofficial timeout, thank you.
That looks like number 77, Shut-Eye Night, headed to the penalty box. So Cruz headed off for Denver. Both jammers trying to find a hole in the middle, but none is available there.
High block coming in. Oh, and it's on the jammer.
So that means Ferguson picking up lead for Denver very quickly. Peck goes into turn number 2 and back into the back straightaway.
San Diego only had 2 jammer penalties in the first half. They're sitting on 8 jammer penalties just this half. 3 occurring in the course of 1 jam.
4-point pass there in turn number 4. Pack slows down in the back straightaway. Number 77, Jedi Knight coming up, trying to provide some offensive blocking, joined by Alchemist Prime. Alchemist Prime opening up that pack, 4 points to Denver. 8 total on the jam.
But the penalty was killed by San Diego. Jammer got out of the penalty box. Bench was saying, call it, call it, call it, trying to get that power start, but just a fraction of a second too late.
That's going to be Culture Shock with the rolling start back from turn number 4. Sparrow for Denver picking up a lead just on the toe stop, so that I think maybe half an inch opening.
2 in a row for Denver. 3 of the last 4 leads gone their way. Another hit it and quit it. Get your 4 points and call it off 216 to 67. Official timeout. Official timeout called with 4.5 minutes left to play in regulation. Can we get some love for the host leagues for this fantastic tournament? Show your appreciation to Emerald City, to Bridgetown, to all the teams that came together in this local Oregon area to put this tournament on. I know Lane County concussion has a lot to do with the broadcast, so much love to everybody who is organizing this tournament.
Kilkenny M. Falcon going up against
Stelly.
Stelly, I think, getting about 4.5 feet off the ground there for an attempted apex jump. T-Bone, or T-Dog, excuse me, the last jammer to beat, and is finally able to juke around 333 True Blocka to pick up lead for Denver. Kilkenny and Falcon completing the initial pass. Stelly being directed to call off the jam. 1 point sneaked out by San Diego, 2 points to Denver.
2:18 playing 68, a 150-point lead for the ground control. Panty-depressant out there going up against number 3. That is Culture Shock.
Culture Shock with that rolling start that I've seen a few times already.
I should know. Whenever you don't see the jammer, that's because it's Culture Shock. Blocking with the head is the call on Culture Shock.
It's one of the risks when you get that low and you're coming in. You got to make sure you keep that head and chest up so you don't get that blocking with the head penalty.
Also, you could be winded because you see you getting tired and just kind of leaning forward and actually bumping somebody with your head.
Panty depressant being pushed to the inside, recycling back to the back straightaway. A great blocking combination there of Bad Billy, number 23, Quasimodo, the two of them doing some great duos blocking.
So penalty successfully killed, everybody out of the box. Lead now assessed. And the jam is called. 0-0. Our second of scoreless of the half and our 7th scoreless of the game. Maintains that 150-point lead for the ground control.
Number 18, Ferguson going up against Dirty 5. Dirty 5 coming around, picking up a lead for the San Diego Aftershocks. Ferguson with an apex jump to complete the initial pass. Ferguson and T-Dog both going down on the inside. Getting up kind of slowly. Hard fall, but we are up and we're moving. Dirty 5, 4 points for the Aftershocks. Alchemist Prime with a couple of great hits there onto Dirty 5. Great one-on-one blocking from Alchemist Prime. Just staying right in line, not letting any movement be uncontested.
Dirty Five driving that wall forward, but then the pack just catches right back up. He can't get the separation he needs to get the no call and get the automatic release. Direction of play coming in. Denver losing a blocker on direction of play.
Schneider was the pivot there that had joined Alchemist Prime for that kind of final push out. Dirty Five able to complete that scoring pass, 4 points apiece for each of these teams. No love lost here between the jammers as they give each other a hard time. Dirty Five, beautiful duck and roll around the Denver wall. 12 points so far for the San Diego Aftershocks.
That ties their highest tally of the game. One more pass will surpass it. Let's get those final points.
So it's looks like it's gonna be 16-7, maybe?
16, more than 20% of San Diego's score, their highest jam, and that is the end of regulation.
So right now, unofficial score, we are sitting at Denver 225, San Diego Aftershocks 84.
Who of my fans here from Denver cheer your team for their victory? Also, make sure you send some love to this team from San Diego. They only came out with 10 skaters, but they skated with great heart, grit, and determination. So great showing, even though they're on the lower half of the fraction on the scoreboard. Great effort by San Diego. Here comes Denver for their skate around. Show them some love.
Score is whistled final, so moving into these handshakes, some congratulations and love. Like I said, make sure you come right back here at noon for Montreal versus Sacramento. Let's track number 2. Looks like it's 70-83, so but as we're still trying to get warm-up, summon, and all of that, go over and check out track number 2. Should be a fun game, nice and tight right now.
Yeah, there's 20 minutes left in the first period over there on track number 2.
So definitely should go watch the rest of that during these warm-ups.
Buy merch, support these teams. The best way you can support local derby and support the teams is to buy the stuff they brought so they don't have to bring it back home with them. San
Diego Aftershocks making their rounds now. High fives to Denver. So it was a joy getting to call this game
An absolute
with you.
Pleasure, RPG.
And I absolutely enjoyed all of our fans here and everything going on.
Yeah, great time. And still more roller to become. This is only the first game of the final day of 2019 Big O here in Eugene, Oregon. On behalf of RPG, I'm Bobby Narco. We wish you peace, love, and roller derby.